Number 1. The forgotten eighth continent of the world. For a very long time, humans believed that there were exactly 7 continents on Earth. However, geological discoveries in recent decades have challenged this notion. Today, New Zealand is not merely an isolated island nation in the Pacific Ocean. It is actually the rare visible part of a vast continent called Zealandia, most of which remains submerged beneath the sea. Geologists have determined that Zealandia was once a part of the supercontinent Gondwana and began to separate around 80 million years ago. After its separation, the continental crust of Zealandia gradually thinned and sank over time, causing the ocean to cover nearly the entire surface. Currently, about 94% of Zealandia is underwater. If sea levels were to drop, New Zealand would emerge not as a chain of islands, but as the prominent peak of an eighth continent. When Zealandia broke away from Gondwana, it carried with it many ancient plant species and early reptile groups, but it lacked the presence of terrestrial mammals. As a result, New Zealand became one of the very few places on Earth without native land mammals, except for bats. This meant that for millions of years, bird and reptile species faced little to no predation pressure from carnivorous mammals. This isolated environment has fostered an extraordinarily unique evolutionary ecosystem. One of the most notable examples is the kiwi. Although classified as a bird, the kiwi cannot fly, has a round body, short legs, and is primarily nocturnal. Instead of relying on sight, kiwis use their sense of smell to find food. Their nostrils, located at the tip of their beak, allow them to sniff out insects and earthworms hidden deep within the moist soil. The most striking feature of the kiwi is its egg. One egg can weigh up to 20% of the mother's body weight, forcing the internal organs to shift to the sides for several weeks. In addition to the kiwi, New Zealand is home to the kakapo, often referred to as the world's loneliest parrot. The kakapo is too heavy to fly, has a gentle disposition, and lives quite quietly. During the breeding season, males produce deep, resonant calls throughout the night to attract females. However, the sound travels poorly, making it difficult for females to locate them, resulting in an extremely low reproductive rate. At one point, the entire species teetered on the brink of extinction simply because they could not find mates. Moreover, New Zealand is also the home of the tuatara, the only surviving reptile from an evolutionary branch that emerged over 240 million years ago, around the same time as the dinosaurs. The tuatara resembles a lizard, but possesses a unique feature: a third eye located on the top of its head. This organ helps juvenile tuataras sense light and regulate their circadian rhythms. Not only that, but tuataras can live for over 100 years and grow at such a slow rate that even tortoises are outpaced. Number 2. New Zealand and other interesting facts. One of the most common shocks you might hear about New Zealand is their love for going barefoot. Children can walk to school with bare feet. Adults go into convenience stores without shoes, and some even board buses without any footwear. According to surveys from local schools, the percentage of students going barefoot in coastal communities can exceed 1/3. For New Zealanders, going barefoot is comfortable, connects them with nature, and is not considered rude at all. Another thing that can be quite confusing for visitors is the phrase "yeah, nah." New Zealanders are known for being friendly and are often reluctant to say no outright. Instead of clearly stating no, they use the phrase "yeah, nah" to gently decline, which can leave the listener perplexed. For example, if you invite someone for coffee and they respond with "yeah, nah, thanks," they are actually declining, even though it sounds like an agreement. In some cases, this phrase is also used to express uncertainty. When you ask, "Is it raining?" you might get a shrug and a "yeah, nah, mate," meaning not really sure. If you are someone who likes to show off, be careful in New Zealand. The locals are extremely allergic to boasting. They have a cultural concept known as tall poppy syndrome, which refers to people who appear to be superior or overly proud of their achievements. Instead of being admired, you might be seen as arrogant. Therefore, even very successful individuals in New Zealand often speak about themselves modestly. Another surprising aspect is that New Zealanders frequently use profanity, especially the F word, in their daily lives. This word is often used as an adjective to emphasize emotions. However, interestingly, swearing in public is legally considered an offense under the Summary Offences Act, with fines that can reach up to NZD 1,000. In practice, though, this law is rarely enforced unless the language causes serious disorder. Lastly, Shops, restaurants, and supermarkets here tend to close very early. Many places shut down by 5 or 6 p.m., even on weekends. If you are used to a bustling nightlife in the city, the pace of life in New Zealand might make everything feel like it's on slow motion. The reason is that the locals place a high value on time spent with family, relaxation, and nature. Working to live, rather than living to work, is a core part of their philosophy. Number 3. Cultural shock in New Zealand. One of the most common cultural shocks when learning about New Zealand is the locals' habit of going barefoot. Here, it's not uncommon to see children heading to school without shoes. Adults can also walk barefoot into convenience stores, small supermarkets, or even step onto a bus. For New Zealanders, this practice is not seen as inappropriate or careless. Rather, they view it as a way to feel more comfortable and connect directly with their surroundings. In many families, children are even encouraged to go barefoot while playing outside to develop their agility and better sense of the ground. Another thing that can confuse visitors is the way New Zealanders use the phrase "yeah, nah." This is a very common expression in everyday communication. New Zealanders are known for their friendliness and dislike of being too direct in refusals. Instead of saying no outright, they often use "yeah, nah" to decline more gently, even though this can leave the listener feeling puzzled. For example, if you invite someone for coffee and they respond with "yeah, nah, thanks," it actually means they don't want to go. In some other contexts, this phrase can also express hesitation or uncertainty. When asked if it will rain, the response, "yeah, nah, mate," often implies that they aren't really sure. New Zealand is also a place where boasting about personal achievements is not highly regarded. The locals have a cultural concept known as the tall poppy syndrome, which describes people who stand out too much or frequently showcase their superiority. In many cases, this prominence does not elicit admiration. Rather, it can make others uncomfortable. Therefore, even those who are very successful in business, sports, or academics tend to speak about themselves in a modest manner. Another surprising aspect for many visitors is the prevalence of profanity in everyday communication, particularly the F word. This word is often used to emphasize emotions or enhance expressiveness. Although it appears frequently in daily life, swearing in public is legally considered an offense under the Summary Offences Act, with a maximum fine of up to 1,000 New Zealand dollars. In practice, this law is rarely enforced, unless the language leads to serious disorder. Finally, a slow-paced lifestyle is a very distinct characteristic of New Zealand. Many shops, restaurants, and supermarkets typically close by 5 or 6 p.m., even on weekends. For those accustomed to the bustling nightlife of urban living, this can feel quite jarring. However, New Zealanders place a high value on time spent with family, resting, and connecting with nature. The philosophy of working to achieve a balanced life, rather than allowing work to consume all their time, is a common ethos in this country. Number 4. Strange places in New Zealand. You can see all kinds of fences in many different countries, but only when you set foot in New Zealand do you have the chance to encounter a truly unique fence, the bra fence. This peculiar installation began appearing in 1999, and over time, the number of bras hanging on it has continuously increased. There have been numerous attempts to remove all the bras from the fence, yet somehow, they keep reappearing as if they had never disappeared. Many tourists passing by this location, out of curiosity or simply for fun, have voluntarily taken off their own bras and hung them on the fence. This seemingly spontaneous act has caused the fence to expand both in size and quantity. This natural and somewhat inexplicable spread has helped the site gain global fame, earning it recognition as the fence with the most bras in the world, with nearly 10,000 pieces. Not stopping at the bra fence, New Zealand also boasts a variety of other equally quirky fences made from flip-flops, toothbrushes, wheel rims, boots, and even old bicycles. If those fences aren't enough to surprise you, New Zealand is also home to one of the most famous public toilets in the world. The Hundertwasser toilets in the town of Kawakawa are unlike any ordinary restroom. This structure is designed in a free-spirited artistic style, featuring curved walls, vibrant tiles, whimsically arranged broken ceramics, asymmetrical windows, and greenery integrated into the architecture. The entire structure resembles a vibrant work of art more than a facility for basic needs. Its uniqueness has led the Hundertwasser toilets to be listed by major travel sites like BBC and Lonely Planet as must-see attractions. Contrary to the belief that no one travels just to see a toilet, around 250,000 people visit Kawakawa each year just to see and take photos with this remarkable structure. Additionally, New Zealand is famous for Baldwin Street, considered the steepest street in the world with residents. At its steepest point, the incline reaches a ratio of 1 inch 2.86, meaning that in less than 3 meters horizontally, the road rises by 1 meter. The slope is so severe that asphalt cannot be laid down as usual, because on hot days, the asphalt would melt and slide down the incline. Therefore, the entire street had to be poured with concrete and given a rough surface to ensure safety. Number 5. The homeland of strong, independent women. New Zealand women often leave a strong impression with their athletic appearance and confident demeanor. Their naturally tanned skin, direct gaze, and relaxed behavior are easily recognizable traits. If you are attracted to independent and proactive women, Kiwi girls will certainly catch your attention. They are accustomed to handling things their own way, assembling a bookshelf, installing lights in their homes, repairing a porch, or transforming an old shed into a creative workspace are not unfamiliar tasks for them. DIY skills, often associated with men, are skillfully and enthusiastically embraced by many New Zealand women. Their lifestyle also reflects a free-spirited and unrestrained attitude. In New Zealand, it is completely normal for women to drink beer, order hard liquor, or gather with friends after work. In bars, it's common to see groups of women enjoying bottled beers or large pints, engaging in lively and relaxed conversations. If you are used to the image of women only sipping on light cocktails, your experience in New Zealand may change your perspective. Sports play a significant role in the lives of many New Zealand women. Rugby, a sport often seen as a male domain, has a large number of female players. They not only follow the matches, but also actively participate in training and competitions. The national women's rugby team, the Black Ferns, is one of the strongest in the world and has won the World Cup multiple times. This achievement makes them a source of national pride. Accustomed to independence, New Zealand women often do not appreciate excessive chivalry. When men insist on carrying a light bag for them, it can sometimes make them uncomfortable. What they seek is respect and equal treatment, rather than a patronizing form of care. In dating, splitting bills or taking turns paying is considered completely normal. Despite their strength and proactivity in life, New Zealand women tend to be quite calm when it comes to relationships and marriage. They often take their time to get to know each other, cohabiting before making a decision to marry. Living together before marriage is very common and not viewed negatively. They are also open to dating and marrying foreigners. Statistics show that 1 in every 5 marriages in New Zealand is between a local and a foreigner, primarily from the US, UK, or Australia. Therefore, building a relationship with a New Zealand girl is not as far-fetched as many might think. Would you like to know some tips for connecting with Kiwi girls from afar? If so, comment with the number 4, and I'll share more. Number 6. A powerhouse of film and agriculture. When it comes to major film centers around the world, most people immediately think of Hollywood. However, few know that New Zealand is the place that has created a cinematic universe that has left global audiences in awe. This country serves as the primary backdrop for 2 globally renowned fantasy film series, The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The majestic landscapes featured in the films, from lush green valleys and sprawling hills to snow-capped mountains and enchanting caves, are all real-life locations in New Zealand. One of the most striking locations is the Hobbiton village in Matamata. This film set was constructed to recreate the Hobbit village depicted in the movies. After filming concluded, the entire set was not dismantled, but preserved and open to visitors. This decision transformed Hobbiton from a temporary film set into a famous tourist destination, attracting around 300,000 visitors each year and generating significant revenue for the region. This unexpected success even led the New Zealand government to issue a special commemorative coin featuring a Hobbit character as a way to acknowledge the cinematic heritage that has helped promote the country's image worldwide. Additionally, New Zealand has also been involved in the production of many other major films, such as a Minecraft movie, The Avengers, and more recently, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Besides its film industry, New Zealand is also a true agricultural powerhouse. This is clearly reflected in the number of livestock far exceeding the human population. Currently, the country has about 23.6 million sheep, while the population is only around 5.3 million people. On average, there are more than 4 sheep for every New Zealander. Furthermore, the total number of dairy and beef cattle ranges from 9.5 to 10 million, nearly double the population. New Zealand also raises approximately 700,000 deer for venison and velvet, along with various other livestock. Thanks to this massive scale of farming, the country earns over 22 billion USD annually from agricultural exports, a figure that even surpasses the total GDP of some countries like Laos or Brunei. However, the enormous number of livestock also brings about unforeseen challenges. One of these is the significant amount of methane produced daily by sheep and cattle. As a result, agriculture has become one of the largest sources of greenhouse gas emissions in New Zealand, second only to transportation. To address this issue, the government once proposed a controversial measure, taxing livestock emissions, humorously referred to by locals as the fart tax. This proposal quickly faced fierce backlash, as it was deemed absurd to pay for the methane emissions of cows. Ultimately, the government had to withdraw this plan and seek more feasible solutions. Number 7. One interesting aspect of New Zealand is that many cities here have their own nicknames, which clearly reflect the character and unique identity of each place. Auckland is often referred to as the City of Sails, and this is entirely justified. The city has over 135,000 registered boats, ranking among the highest in the world when considering the population ratio. On average, there is 1 boat for every 3 households. For the locals, owning a boat is seen as a normal part of life rather than a luxury pastime. Additionally, Auckland frequently hosts major international sailing competitions like the America's Cup, attracting thousands of athletes and yachts from around the world to its harbor. Wellington, the capital of New Zealand, is known as the Windy City. This nickname is derived from the strong winds that often sweep through the city, especially in the exposed areas. The name also reflects the vibrant and creative energy of the city, where political, artistic, and cultural activities are constantly buzzing, much like a beehive. Christchurch is dubbed the Garden City, a title that becomes particularly evident in spring. The city boasts over 740 parks and public gardens, with the Christchurch Botanic Gardens along the Avon River being the most notable. When the flowers bloom, thousands of plant species showcase their colors, creating a distinctive landscape. The locals are also known for their love of nature, with many families dedicating time to carefully tend to their small front gardens. Dunedin is called the City of Education because it is home to the University of Otago, the first and oldest university in New Zealand. Students make up nearly a quarter of the city's population, giving the atmosphere a youthful and distinctly academic vibe. Queenstown is globally renowned as the adventure capital. It is the birthplace of the world's first commercial bungee jump, with the famous jump site located at the Kawarau Bridge. In addition to bungee jumping, the city offers paragliding, skydiving, jet boating, ziplining, and many other adventure sports. During peak season, hundreds of people participate in thrilling activities every day. Number 8. Wellington, the windiest city in the world. Chicago has long been known as the Windy City, but when compared to Wellington, that American city seems like a fan running on low. Wellington truly deserves the title of the windiest city in the world. Situated between the North and South Islands, right at the Cook Strait, Wellington is inadvertently positioned directly in the path of strong winds, coming from the Roaring Forties, an area famous for its harsh weather. Wind here is not a rare phenomenon. It occurs almost every day, with an average speed of around 29 kilometers per hour throughout the year. On bad weather days, gusts can reach up to 200 kilometers per hour. Locals are all too familiar with the sight of tourists, just out of the airport, having their hats, glasses blown away, and their meticulously styled hair turned into a mess by the wind. Not only is Wellington famous for its wind, but its terrain also surprises many first-time visitors. The city is built on steep hills that curve closely to the sea, interspersed with narrow valleys. This makes daily commuting quite a challenge. Some roads are so winding and steep that cars find it difficult to turn around, while pedestrians quickly realize that living in Wellington means getting a workout every day. Particularly, there are houses perched on hills so high that they cannot be accessed by regular pathways. To reach their front doors, homeowners are forced to install outdoor elevators or use small funicular railways. These elevators are often custom designed for each household, resembling small cabins that move slowly along tracks hugging the hillside. In addition to its wind and terrain, Wellington also has a lesser-known title, the coffee capital of the world. The city boasts one of the highest densities of coffee shops per capita globally. You can hardly walk more than 50 meters without finding a cafe serving high-quality espresso. Interestingly, in Wellington, international coffee chains like Starbucks often struggle to compete with local roasters such as Coffee Supreme, Flight Coffee, or Lafar. The locals are willing to queue at small alleyway cafes instead of opting for familiar global brands. Number 9. The last land settled by humans. When ancient civilizations such as Egypt, Rome, and China were constructing monumental structures and developing complex social systems, the land of New Zealand remained completely devoid of human presence. For most of human history, this region had no cities, no settled civilizations, and was almost entirely untouched by human activity. It was not until around 1250 to 1300 AD that groups of Polynesians first crossed the ocean and set foot on this remote land. Their maritime journey is considered one of the most remarkable feats of navigation in pre-modern history. This event made New Zealand one of the last places to be discovered and settled by humans. These Polynesians are the ancestors of the modern Maori community. Upon arrival, they observed the sky frequently adorned with long white cloud bands stretching across the horizon. This image inspired them to name the land Aotearoa, meaning the land of the long white cloud. To this day, Aotearoa is still used by Maori alongside the name New Zealand as a way to affirm their cultural identity. Maori society is organized into tribes known as iwi. Each iwi is closely tied to a specific area of land, which includes mountains, rivers, and their ancestors. For the Maori, land holds not only material value but also serves as the foundation of their identity. Therefore, when introducing themselves, they often mention the name of the mountain and river that represent their tribe before stating their personal name. In communication, the Maori have a distinctive greeting ritual called hongi. Instead of shaking hands, they press their foreheads and noses together for a few seconds to symbolize the sharing of the breath of life. When someone is invited to perform hongi, it signifies their recognition as a member of the community. However, this ritual only occurs when the host initiates the invitation, and always requires absolute respect from the participants. Another interesting cultural aspect is the role of women in traditional courtship rituals. Maori women can take the initiative to present a spiritually significant item, such as a bracelet or handcrafted item, to express their desire for a bond. Notably, Maori maintain a clear status in modern New Zealand society. The Maori language is one of the 3 official languages and is taught in schools. The Haka dance is not only performed in traditional ceremonies, but is also showcased at sports events and national occasions. Maori also have their own representation in Parliament, ensuring that the rights and voices of this community are not sidelined like many other indigenous communities around the world. Number 10. Mysterious locations yet to be explained. Deep within the Kaimanawa Forest in the central North Island, Kaimanawa Wall has long been one of New Zealand's most controversial mysteries. This structure is a stone wall approximately 3 meters high and over 20 meters long, composed of large, square-edged stones with unusually flat surfaces. The stones are stacked fairly evenly in horizontal rows, giving the impression of a deliberately constructed structure rather than a naturally occurring rock formation. The biggest point of contention lies in the fact that, according to recognized history, New Zealand had no stone-building civilizations prior to the arrival of the Maori around 700 to 800 years ago. If Kaimanawa Wall is indeed an artificial structure, it would overturn the entire understanding of the country's settlement history. Some hypotheses suggest that the wall could be the remnants of an older Polynesian civilization or traces of a pre-Maori group that has never been documented. Conversely, official scientific agencies assert that Kaimanawa Wall is merely naturally occurring ignimbrite rock. According to this interpretation, the straight cracks are the result of prolonged cooling and erosion processes, inadvertently creating a shape resembling an artificial stone wall. However, the debate continues as the area has never been comprehensively excavated archaeologically. The New Zealand government currently does not permit deep digging, effectively freezing any efforts to verify the wall's origins. Not only does Kaimanawa Wall present a mystery, but the Otago coast also boasts another enigma, the Moeraki boulders. On Koekohe Beach, dozens of nearly perfect spherical boulders are scattered along the sandy shore. Many of these boulders are nearly 2 meters in diameter and weigh several tons, resembling giant eggs or deliberately placed objects. Modern science suggests that these boulders formed from a mineral precipitation process that occurred millions of years ago, similar to how pearls develop within oyster shells. However, their uniform shape, the way the boulders cluster together, and the fact that they are not buried deep in the sand raise questions for many. Some boulders have cracked open to reveal a core with a very uniform and dense crystalline structure, making them appear more like crafted products than natural stones. According to Maori legend, the Maori boulders are the remnants of a canoe that was wrecked when the first Polynesians arrived in this land. The driftwood turned to stone and has remained on the shore for generations. Despite the scientific community's continued assertion that this is a geological phenomenon, many locals still believe that this place is a crossroads between the human world and the spirit realm. Number 11. The beautiful places of New Zealand. Milford Sound, located in the southwest of New Zealand's South Island, is frequently ranked as one of the most stunning natural destinations in the world. This fjord was formed by glacial rivers, creating vertical cliffs that rise over 1,000 meters on either side, with waterfalls cascading directly into the sea. Among its most notable features are Stirling Falls and Bowen Falls, both of which exceed 150 meters in height and flow year-round. Milford Sound receives a significant amount of rainfall, averaging over 6,000 millimeters annually. So if you visit on a rainy day, you'll witness hundreds of temporary waterfalls appearing on the cliffs, creating a sight that is rarely seen elsewhere. In addition to its breathtaking landscapes, the area is home to dolphins, penguins, seals, and various seabirds. Visitors can explore the fjord by boat, kayak, or even take a scenic helicopter flight if the weather permits. Rotorua is a town located in the central North Island, famous for its intense geothermal activity and distinctive sulfur smell. The entire area is built on an active volcanic belt. As a result, the city features dozens of geysers, boiling mud pools, and natural hot springs. The most prominent area is Tapu, which boasts the Champagne Pool, known for its greenish, yellow, orange water resulting from a chemical reaction with minerals. The surface temperature of the pool reaches up to 74 degrees Celsius, continuously bubbling as if it were boiling. Additionally, there is the Lady Knox geyser, which can shoot water up to 20 meters high every morning. Rotorua is also the cultural center of the Maori people. Near the city lies the village of Wakarewerwa, where Maori have lived for over 200 years among the hot springs. They still cook using geothermal water and use mineral mud for healing. Here, visitors can watch Haka performances, traditional dances, and witness firsthand how the Maori utilize steam from the earth as part of their daily lives. Another destination on the South Island is Aoraki, the highest mountain in New Zealand, standing at 3,724 meters. This mountain is part of the Southern Alps and is located within Aoraki National Park. The surrounding area is home to the largest concentration of glaciers in New Zealand, including the Tasman Glacier, which is over 27 kilometers long. Visitors can take boat trips among the floating icebergs or fly by helicopter to high vantage points for aerial views. Due to its remote location and high altitude, the skies here are almost free from light pollution. On clear nights, the Milky Way shines brightly like a river of milk across the sky. And if you're lucky, you might even catch a glimpse of the Southern Lights. Number 12. Unique Festivals of New Zealand. Among the many festivals in New Zealand, Te Matatini is the most influential event for Maori culture. This is the largest Haka festival for Maori, held every 2 years and alternating between different cities, usually around February or March. Te Matatini is not merely an entertainment performance, it is the most significant stage for Maori tribes to express their identity. Each participating team represents an iwi, or tribe, and must pass rigorous regional selection rounds before performing on the national stage. Over the 4 days of the festival, teams take turns presenting Haka performances lasting about 20 minutes, combining singing, dancing, storytelling, simulated weaponry, and strong facial expressions. The audience not only watches, but also cheers, sings along, and supports their regional team, creating a vibrant atmosphere akin to a sports tournament but with profound cultural significance. In the north, Auckland hosts the Pasifika Festival every March, regarded as the largest Pacific cultural festival in the world. This festival reflects the reality that New Zealand has a large Polynesian community from Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, Niue, and the Cook Islands. In the expansive park where the event takes place, each community sets up its own village, recreating the traditional living spaces of their homeland. Visitors can walk from one village to another in just a few minutes, watching traditional dances, listening to drums, tasting local dishes, and engaging directly with people in traditional attire. If you move to the west coast of the South Island, you will encounter the Hokitika Wild Foods Festival, a March event famous for its unconventional food offerings that not everyone is willing to try. The concept of the Wild Foods Festival is quite simple: to use ingredients available in nature that reflect the wild lifestyle of the West Coast region. Here, you might come across hoo-hoo bug burgers, wasabi ice cream, live shellfish, venison, shark meat, and many dishes considered a challenge for visitors. In addition to the food, the festival features live music, street performances, and entertaining eating competitions. Number 13. Interesting dishes of New Zealand. Hangi is a traditional dish representative of the Maori people and one of the oldest cooking methods still practiced in New Zealand. Instead of using a stove, a pit is dug in the ground, volcanic stones are heated, food is placed on top, and then covered with leaves or burlap before being buried to cook slowly for several hours. This cooking method creates a distinctive light smoky flavor mixed with earthy aromas that is nearly impossible to replicate with modern ovens or steamers. The ingredients of hangi typically include lamb, chicken, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, and various vegetables, depending on the region. Whitebait fritter is a dish that many New Zealanders, especially those on the South Island, take great pride in. Whitebait refers to small, almost transparent fish that are about 4 to 5 centimeters long and are only available during a short fishing season from September to mid-November. The dish is controversial because whitebait is cooked whole, with no parts discarded, then mixed with eggs and fried into small fritters. The flavor of this dish is quite mild and slightly sweet, but what makes whitebait special is its high price. In some seasons, the price of whitebait can exceed 150 New Zealand dollars per kilogram. The fishing process is also very manual, with locals standing at river mouths with hand nets, facing unpredictable weather. Due to declining yields, the government has implemented strict regulations to protect this fish species. Hoo-hoo grub is a dish that makes many tourists hesitate before trying. It is the larva of a beetle that lives in decaying wood and has been used by the Maori for hundreds of years as a natural source of protein. Hoo-hoo grub can be eaten raw, roasted, or fried, but its true value lies in its historical role as a survival food. During long journeys through the forest, the Maori could eat hoo-hoo grub on the spot without cooking. Today, this dish is no longer common in everyday meals, but still appears at cultural festivals or in restaurants, offering indigenous culinary experiences. Pavlova is a famous dessert closely associated with New Zealand and is also the center of a long-standing debate with Australia over its origins. The cake is named after the ballet dancer Anna Pavlova following her tour in the 1920 seconds. Pavlova often appears at family gatherings, Christmas celebrations, and summer parties. For New Zealanders, this cake is iconic, tied to childhood memories and family reunions. Many families have their own recipes passed down through generations. Number 14. Travel costs in New Zealand. Traveling to New Zealand is often considered quite expensive compared to many other destinations, largely due to its geographical distance from major centers and the high cost of living for locals. Accommodation costs make up a significant portion of the budget. In popular cities like Auckland, Wellington, or Queenstown, mid-range hotels for two people typically range from about $70 to over $100 per night. If you opt for motels or hostels, the prices are more affordable, generally ranging from $20 to over $40 per night. Airbnb is a familiar choice for many travelers, but during the peak season from December to February, rental prices often increase by about 20 to 40% compared to regular rates. Dining in New Zealand is quite diverse, but not cheap. A fast food meal or a simple dish costs around $7 to $9, while a meal at a mid-range restaurant for two people usually falls between $50 and over $70. To save money, many travelers choose to buy groceries at large supermarkets like Countdown or New World. However, imported products or out-of-season fruits can be significantly more expensive. Transportation costs vary greatly depending on the chosen mode of travel. Renting a car is very popular, with small car rentals costing around $24 to over $40 per day, not including fuel. Long-distance buses like Intercity range from over $10 to nearly $50 per trip. In cities, public transport is only convenient in Auckland and Wellington, while taxis or rideshare services typically cost about $1.5 to $1.8 per kilometer. Additionally, experiential activities can also incur considerable expenses. Whale watching tours in Kaikoura usually cost around $90 to over $100 per person. Skyline, Queenstown gondola tickets are about $30, and popular Milford Sound tours range from $120 to $180. In contrast, many natural attractions such as national parks, lakes, and beaches are completely free to visit. With a comfortable yet not extravagant travel style, the average daily cost typically ranges from $120 to $180. If you cut back on dining out, choose budget accommodations, and cook for yourself, the budget can drop to around $70 to under $100 per day, excluding round-trip airfare. Number 15. Tips for travelers. One of the challenges many travelers face when visiting New Zealand is the strict regulations regarding environmental protection and biosecurity. Right from the airport, your luggage may be thoroughly inspected. If you bring food, seeds, wooden products, or any undeclared biological items, you could be fined on the spot, with penalties reaching several hundred New Zealand dollars. Another common misunderstanding among international visitors is the issue of freedom camping. Freedom camping does not mean you can stop your vehicle and sleep overnight anywhere. Only certain designated areas are allowed for camping, and there are usually clear signs indicating these spots. If you park overnight in the wrong location, especially near beaches or residential areas, you could be fined anywhere from over $100 to several $100s, even if you are just sleeping in your car for a short time. Many travelers run into trouble because they rely on outdated information online or fail to pay close attention to local signage. When renting a self-drive vehicle, one important point to note is the one-way drop-off fee. New Zealand has many long road trip routes, but if you pick up a car in Auckland and drop it off in Queenstown, the one-way fee can exceed the cost of renting the car for several days. Many people only realize this charge at the final payment stage. Additionally, in remote areas, the distance between gas stations can be quite far, with some stretches exceeding 100 kilometers without any station. Therefore, forgetting to fill up on gas before leaving town can pose a significant risk. Finally, there are tours and nature experiences. Many activities are heavily dependent on weather conditions, such as whale watching, visiting Milford Sound, or taking a helicopter ride to a glacier. When the weather is bad, tours may be canceled close to the departure time. Some companies offer full refunds, but others may only allow rescheduling or retain a portion of the service fee. If your itinerary is tight, not carefully reading the cancellation policy could result in losing money and missing out on your plans. And those are 15 interesting facts about New Zealand. I hope the information provided has given you a new perspective on this unique country. If you found the video valuable, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to join us on our upcoming journeys. Among the 15 facts shared, which one impressed you the most? Please leave a comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts.